go, we get to see Dreyfus going against his old master alongside with an old friend and rival of his and all that, going right into the sins. And if you haven't already heard it already, Seven Deadly Sins has been confirmed as well to get a brand new anime coming out. Not talking about the Holy Signs of War stuff, but actually a brand new TV series, which, you know, that's pretty much season 2. And, like, giving the fact is, like, how, like, especially with the manga, now we can kind of talk about this since everyone here has obviously seen the manga. Talking about it, like, honestly, it's like, I feel like now is the time where it's like, we're slightly getting to that point now in the manga where it's like, okay, we've already dealt with Grey Road, we've already dealt, like, you know, like the one that takes the souls as well. We've already, like, taken care of, like, quite a few of these people already, you know, like, and it's like, okay, I think we're reaching the point where it's like, now they're actually defeating, and it's like, you know, it's the other way around. It's where, like, you know, a bunch of the sins are overcoming against, like, all the 10 commandments. And, like, honestly, this chapter, like, going right into it, I got to say, I was, like, a little bit on this one, because, like, remember how I've always been, like, talking about the manga where it's like, I absolutely love it when it's about Merlin or Barn or Meliodas or King. I love it when it's all about the sins, maybe the exception of, like King and Diane at the moment. But then it's like, when it comes to, like, focus on, like, Hendrickson, or it comes to focus on Zartras, or, like, any of these guys, that's where I'm always a little bit, because, like, even still, like, I know I've, like, talked about it, like, probably maybe 1 or 2 weeks already by now, but the fact that, like, the shoe's on the other foot now with Hendrickson, and I think that was kind of, like, what they were trying to show in this chapter, where it's, like, now you see it's, like, actually Hendrickson trying to stop Dreyfus, and it's not the other way around, where season 1, it was Dreyfus trying to stop Hendrickson from his evil plan, and he's, like, you know, like, I would, like, you know, the day I take Dreyfus back, and he's just, like, you know, trying to use the same techniques on him like that, trying to use the acid tower to melt him, he's like, that ain't gonna work on me, bro, and then he immediately just tries to, like, purge the soul out of him and all that, and saying, like, I'm gonna try and rescue my friend, and just, like, honestly seeing this and just, like, seeing, like, how, like, weak he is now, like, honestly, it's like, the only bit I kind of like was, like, when he, like, spit out the blood, and he's like, hey, your swordsmanship, it would make a squire blush, and he's like, oh, you know how to push my buttons, going in, trying to slash and beat the shit out of them. It's just, like, literally, even when, like, he was saying, like, you know, this is ironic, going from the fact that you were the guy, like, the shoe was on the other time around, it's like, now it's like, you're trying to stop me, and it's just like, even though we've, like, committed so many sins, and it's like, yeah, our hands are stained with blood, and it's like, you really think that doing something now is really going to change the fact of it? And then right at the end, like, you know, see that Hendrickson is being saved by, like, Zaratras, and it was just like, it's like, even still, it's like, I don't like the fact that he's really back, like, Zaratras, and it's like, I don't think he was ever that big of a character to ever, like, come back and say, oh yeah, I have this big emotional thing. But it's like, it'll be interesting because he is the more powerful version of like Gilthunder, and I'm, like, actually kind of curious seeing what exactly his powers are. And, like, he's there like, oh, we're gonna settle this right now. And, like, even seeing the fact there's, like, when he was like, oh, is it really a dream that Master Zaratras? And he just, like, pinches his thing, and it's like, this dude used to be evil, and you're like, I pinch him and all that, look at him, and he's, like, crying, he's like, oh, I'm so happy, so it's like, oh my god, Hendrickson became a bitch. He became the biggest of all bitches. I'm like, oh, I feel so weird. It's just like, I don't know, it's just because I think, like, Hendrickson was just, like, the Obito kind of, like, when, like, transformation thing, and now he's just kind of there now, and, like, even with, like, they have got a plan to stop Dreyfus, like, from then it's like, oh, like, this former, you know, like, captain of the Holy Knights and all that and thing, but can you, like, you bring yourself to murder Dreyfus in cold blood? And he does have a plan, like, a trick up his sleeve, but I have to remind you, this entire fight started by him legging it. Immediately this fight happened because, like, the fact that we needed to catch up with him and he was running away. So it's like, I can't, like, Dreyfus is just so fucking weak to me. I know he's got his demon name, but it's like, I can never remember the demon name of them, and it's just like, I'm looking at him, and it's just like, they're like thinking, oh, he's got this sinister look on him, and he looks like he's serious shit. It's like, he just literally ran away from Merlin and everybody else because he's too fucking scared to go against them. Oh, but no, Hendrickson and Zaratras, oh, they're alright to deal with, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just weird. Honestly, this chapter is not, like, as exciting as, like, what the last few chapters, obviously, because it wasn't focusing mainly on sort of the characters I like, but even still, for the fact it was like, it kind of felt like a more of a slower, story-ish like kind of chapter. They do have a plan up their sleeve and all that for it, but, like, then again, it's like, I'm not, ever since, like, the whole big change on, like, from what we saw with Hendrickson, I've never really liked him that much, and the same thing with, like, Zaratras, I just felt so weird with him just coming back, like, at this point, it's like, I never really liked kind of the resurrection thing that, like, kind of happened with that, like, bringing it both back, Elaine and him, and it's just like, I don't know, it just feels weird, it just feels like, we need more people as well. We can't just have the Sins fighting everyone. We need to try and give everyone else a time to shine. And I feel like that's kind of what they're trying to do at the moment. And it's like, well, who else is there? Because obviously fucking like Gil Thunderhauser and all them were like rat shit. So it's like, oh, well, let's give them to these guys and all that. Let's give it to like someone who was on that level. So I'm kind of curious to see exactly like what Zaratras and like Hendrickson have in mind, but then again, it's like I'm not too much looking forward to next week's chapter, mainly because it will probably be focusing on these two, and it's like I don't really care about Hendrickson, I don't really care about like Zaratras as well, but which is a shame. But I still think it's a decent chapter for the most part. But then it's just like my personal enjoyment was kind of taken out of this one. It's not like a badly written chapter or anything. It's just my personal enjoyment because it's like, oh, these are characters I'm not attached to at all, so it's like it's weird. So I know there are people that really like Hendrickson, and I know there are people that like Dreyfus, and I know there are people that like Zaratras already, and it's like, oh, so you know, this chapter's more meant for them, just isn't for me. So me personally, my entertainment wasn't really this much this week, so I'm honestly gonna give this one my, like, adding on to everything and all that, I do think it's a 5.5. I think it's a good overall chapter, but for me, like, entertainment's a big part of like what I like about in chapters and like everything in the story. But that means so there wasn't too much progression out there, and it's like kind of hard to take him seriously. He's like, you're gonna act all badass, and then, like, immediately the first thing he's doing in the chapter is bouncing. He's like, alright, see ya, and then he's like, no, you got blood in your hat. It's like, you a bitch. You was a bitch, man. Like, you're having, like, you're dealing with, like, fucking, like, not scrubs, but you're dealing with, like, the fucking, not the A team, you're dealing with the B team right now of, like, people to go against. So, definitely looking forward to it, but I am happy the anime's coming back. But that's all from me. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. You think I was a little bit harsh on this chapter, but, you know, entertainment goes for a long way for me. But I don't think this is a bad chapter in any standard. Personally, I just didn't find it that entertaining this week's chapter, but I am looking forward to next week's one. But that's all from me. Thank you much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.